We're now live on YouTube. Could I please have a proposer and seconder to appoint a chairman for the meeting, please?
I'd like to propose Councillor Keith Holland Delamere, please.
Councillor Keith Holland Delamere.
Can you take the chair, please, Councillor Holland Delamere? Thank you.
Thank you, Macy. Okay, have all parties received a copy of the agenda for today's hearing?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, you have all seen a copy of the procedures that the subcommittee will be following today. Are there any questions or issues that anyone wishes to raise regarding the procedure?
No, none at all.
No, Chair.
Okay, and are there any declarations of interest on behalf of members?
No.
Thank you. Okay, are there any preliminary issues anyone wishes to raise?
Just I'll mention it at this time, Chair, just to say that the applicant has declined to attend this hearing. So that's the holder of the premises licence has declined to attend. But I will be adding to that further in my report. Okay,
so this hearing is in respect of aforementioned licensing review for number 10 at Alexandra Terrace, Northampton, NN2 7SJ. I'd like to ask Martin O'Connell to present his report.
Thank you, Chair. As the councillor said, the purpose of this report is to consider an application for the review of a premises licence in accordance with Section 51 of the Licensing Act 2003, made by Northamptonshire Police in respect of a premises licence held by Mr. Ramazan Omar Mustafa with regard to Nasz Sklep, which is a shop premises at 10 Alexandra Terrace, Northampton. The application, which can be found at Appendix A, was received by West Northamptonshire Council on the 12th of May 2022. Further police evidence accompanying that application can be found at Appendix D and in the statements that have been forwarded to you subsequently. The review is made on the grounds of a failure to promote the licensing objective of the prevention of crime and disorder. The licence, if you see Appendix B for that, relates to the following activity, and that is the sale of alcohol off premises only, Monday to Sunday, 8 AM to 11 PM. The opening times are in line with the alcohol sale period. The current premises licence holder, Mr. Ramazan Mustafa, and the licence have been in force. Sorry, is the holder of the licence. Sorry, and the licence has been in force since July 2020. Mr. Mustafa, however, has been the licence holder since February 2022. The designated premises supervisor is also Mr. Mustafa, whose personal licence was issued by Northampton Borough Council previously. When an application for a review of a premises licence or club premises certificate is received, the applicant must serve the licence holder and all responsible authorities with the application. It is then the responsibility of the local authority to place a notice at or near the premises. This gives reasonable authorities and any members of the public the opportunity to make written relevant representations in relation to the application to the local authority within 28 calendar days of receiving the notice or the date or from the date at which it's first displayed. There were no other representations in respect of this application. The notice was displayed on the 12th of May and a copy of it can be seen in place at Appendix C of this report. The Council is also required to send a notice of the hearing to all interested parties and to responsible authorities that have submitted a relevant representation and request confirmation of their intention to attend. A notice of the hearing was sent to the following persons on the 9th of June 2022. To Mr. Ramazan Mustafa, the licence holder, and to PC David Bryan on behalf of the Chief Officer of Northamptonshire Police. As stated at the beginning of the hearing, Mr. Mustafa has decided he is not going to attend this hearing and has stated in his return to me that he feels the hearing is unnecessary. I have subsequently sent an email to him giving advice that the matter is a serious one, that the hearing will go ahead, and that he should consider seeking his own legal advice on whether he should attend the hearing or not. He has not subsequently replied to that email, which was sent prior to the 23rd of June. Upon application of a review, at the end of the consultation period, the licensing authority must hold a hearing to consider it, and any other representations made, it must take such steps as it considers appropriate for the promotion of the licensing objectives, which are the prevention of crime and disorder, public safety, the prevention of public nuisance, and protection of children from harm. The options available to the subcommittee are to modify the conditions of the licence, to exclude a licensable activity from the scope of the licence, remove the designated premises supervisor, suspend the licence for a period not exceeding 3 months, to revoke the licence, or to take no action at all. There is only one financial implication of this, and that is the fact that should the licence be revoked and the licence, that decision is then taken to appeal, there could be financial implications for the council in respect of an appeal. The legal implications are laid out as Section 8 of this report, as done so by Mr. James Chadwick. Thank you, Chair. That's the end of my report.
Thank you. Can we hear from PC Dave Bryan, please?
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, councillors. Thank you for your time today. If I can just run you through the review papers, and clearly I will answer any questions once I've done that. So I've made the review on behalf of the Chief Constable, Mr. Adderley, and he has delegated responsibility and authorised me to act on his behalf regarding representations made by Northamptonshire Police to licensing authorities across the county of Northamptonshire. So this review relates to the sale and or storage of smuggled tobacco products at the premises Nasz Sklep, which is situated at 10 Alexandra Terrace, Northampton. This undermines the licensing objective of the prevention of crime and disorder. So in December 2021, at point 1 of your review papers, I was contacted by Japanese International Tobacco, their anti-illicit trade operations manager. He informed me at the time that Northamptonshire had been identified to their company as high risk in relation to their products, and subsequently had conducted various test purchases across the county. This is just one of them. Sorry, this premises is just one of them. You will see from the review papers that on the 7th, at point 7, was visited on the 9th, the 30th of September and the 5th of January 2022. I need to point out, obviously, 2 of the test purchases have been done in September and Northamptonshire weren't made aware of them by JTI, as I'll refer to them, until December. There are reasons for that. The anti-illicit trades operation manager was new in post. He had a policing background prior to joining the company, and spoke with me as to whether we would be interested in Northamptonshire Police, and his findings, clearly we are. He then instructed another test purchase on the 5th of January. All the products were illicit, and you will see attached to the review papers a statement from Mr. Paul McMahon, who's the anti-illicit trade operations manager. Briefly, his statement outlines what he does, what his roles and responsibility are, and why they've been acting in Northamptonshire. It will then detail the sales. It will then detail the products that have been sold with images, and also the cost, the price they were purchased at, and clearly the cost would not match duty paid on legal UK cigarettes. What you will also find in your review package is a statement from the test purchaser. The reason why I wanted the statement from the test purchaser was this statement contains images of the seller, or sellers, I should say. So if I could take you to the statement of the test purchaser, Eve, and take you to the images from the 9th of September. Subject 2, as described in the statement, is actually the premise license holder and the designated premise supervisor. And then from the 30th of September, image 2 again is of the premise license holder and the designated premise supervisor. Subject 3 is a member of staff who I'm unaware of. Not in your review papers, but I think pertinent is that myself and Trading Standards visited this premises on the 2nd of September 2021. We did a search of the premises and no tobacco products were found. But I can say that the license holder in the images and the female were present during that search. So the license holder clearly was in control of the business, in my opinion, prior to taking the license on himself. I've also put points 11.27 and 11.28 in the review papers. This relates to the statutory section 182 guidance. 11.27 is what criminal activity should be treated particularly seriously, according to the guidance, and that's the sale and storage of smuggled tobacco. And 11.28 details that licensing authorities should seriously consider revocation in the first instance. I've also mentioned a case, the Bassett Law District Council and Worksop Magistrates, which on appeal was deemed that licensing committees, should they consider it, can take punitive measures against premises to uphold the licensing objectives, but equally to send a deterrent out to other premises in relation to the illegal activity that was taking place. That case was in relation to underage sales of alcohol, I would point out, rather than tobacco products. That's my submission at this time, Chair, and I'll happily take any questions. Thank you.
See, Brian. So, Martin, our licensing enforcement officer, do you have any questions?
No. The only thing I can confirm as well is that I've seen the photographs in the image in the second statement, and I too can confirm that the image of the male serving is the license holder, as I met him when I put the blue notice up at the premises.
Okay. Any questions from the subcommittee?
I don't have any questions, thank you.
No questions from me, Chair.
Chair, just quickly, sorry, could I ask PC Brian to confirm? You said that someone from the police, I can't remember if he said it was himself or not, went round to the premises in September 2021. Could you just repeat what you said there about that? I didn't make a proper note of that, I'm afraid.
Yeah, no problem, sir. Yeah, on the 2nd of September 2021, I visited the premises because we had intelligence that the premises was involved in this activity with Trading Standards officers, and we searched the premises. We didn't find anything on that occasion, but can confirm that the female in the images and subject 2 in the images on the statements were present during that search.
No, that's great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, bearing in mind that Mr. Chadwick, that the license holder officially didn't take on the license until January 2022. So that's why that point's being made, I believe.
No, I'm grateful. That's great. Thank you very much. Thank you, Chair, for that. Sorry.
Are there any further questions from the committee?
No, nothing from me.
Okay. So as we do not have the license holder here to respond, could you summarise just looking where we are, sorry. Okay, would Martin like to summarise, please?
Chair, I have nothing to add further to my report. You've heard the evidence of PC Brian, which is as in your report pack. There is nothing else to add, particularly given that the applicant is not here to answer the allegations. And as I say, the report as is written and as stated today. Thank you.
Okay, Chair, sorry, Chair, just quickly. I do have another question for Martin. Sorry, for the licensing officer. Do you know? So a different person was the premises license holder before January 2020, before this year.
Yes.
Who was that? Do you know? But that was a completely separate person who's not.
Yeah, so yeah, it's a completely separate person. The license was applied for initially, and I can't, off the top of my head, I can probably go back and look, but off the top of my head, the license was held by somebody else. There was then an application to transfer the license in January 2020 to Mr. Mustafa, and he also applied to vary the DPS over to himself as well at the same time.
And do you know how long that person had held the premises license for?
Yeah, since 2020. So the license, as the report says, the license was first issued in 2020, right, and then Mr. Mustafa took it on in 2022.
Yeah, I'm grateful. Thank you very much, Chair Martin, and thank you, Chair. I'll shut up now. Thank you.
Councillor Clubby.
Yeah. On the 5th of January 2022, 2 packets of Mayfair were purchased for £10. Can we just confirm who was in the shop at that time?
PC Brian.
Sorry, Chair, bear with me. So according to the statement of the test purchaser named as Eve, councillor, at the time it was the female, subject 1, which was also present. She was also present in the previous 2 sales, and a different male to the licence holder, subject 3. However, clearly the premises was under the control of Mr. Mustafa by that stage.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. PC Brian, do you want to summarise, please?
I'll try and keep it brief, Chair. Just, you know, Northamptonshire Police have asked for revocation. We see it as a serious matter. We have a report from 2013 commissioned by Northamptonshire Police into the illicit illegal trade, and our figures show that back in 2013 that this activity costs the cost the public purse in the region of an estimated 2.1 billion, and that was in 2013. A lot of the public may see this as a sort of victimless crime. It's like, you know, I smoke and I can get cheap cigarettes, but in actual fact, it's not. And it has been, and I will clarify this. This is a generic statement. I'm not saying I have evidence in relation to this premises of this, but it is linked to organised crime groups and exploitation of illegal workers. Now, just to clarify, I didn't find that in relation to Nasz Sklep, but I'm just giving you the reasons why Northamptonshire see this as quite a serious matter, and we will use all the powers that we've got to disrupt it and deal with it. The Licensing Act allows me to call in a review in relation to the smuggled tobacco goods, and that's what we're doing today. So I would ask you and the committee to seriously consider revoking it based on the submission I've given you today. And that's it. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, councillors.
Thank you. Okay, councillors, have you any further questions?
Questions, thank you.
No, thanks, Chair. That's fine.
Okay, so have all parties had sufficient opportunity to make the representations to the subcommittee?
Chair.
Okay, James, before we retire, is there any further points you want to make?
Thank you, Chair. Just to point out that obviously there's the legal advice given by myself in the report, but just to confirm that the with regard to any evidence you've heard, the civil standard of proof will apply for that, namely the on the balance of probabilities or more likely than not, and any action that you think that you're considering in this matter must be considered appropriate for the promotion of the licensing objectives, and on this occasion specifically the prevention of crime and disorder. On the point about the case that the review application highlights, the Bassett Law Bassett Law District Council versus Worksop Magistrates, that I can confirm that is the thrust of the judgment as outlined by PC Bryan. Other than that, no, I have no specific legal advice.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the subcommittee will now retire to make our decision. The decision of the subcommittee will be communicated to all parties in writing within the 5 working days of the hearing. Details of how to make an appeal against the decision of the subcommittee will also be included in that letter. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
That's the end of
Thank
our
you, Chair.
meeting.